Should we allow our legends to die? That's the question that's on my mind right now. Disney's being sued on multiple fronts right now. No, I'm not talking about the lawsuit where they let a visitor who was allergic to nuts or something like that, and she ate a nut and she died, and her spouse is suing Disney, but the spouse can't sue Disney because he signed up for Disney Plus. No, it's not that lawsuit. It is the one Grand Moff Tarkin came back for Rogue One. Do you remember that? That was a long time ago. But yeah, he came back for Rogue One. I guess Peter Cushing back in the 90s made a deal with one of his buddies to use his image after he was gone. So now, today, Disney's being sued for that. That lawsuit's not going to go anywhere. Disney's going to crush the rebellion once again. That just raises the question, should we allow our legends to die? James Earl Jones just passed away, rest in peace, has a contract with Disney to use his voice as Darth Vader. We are going to see James Earl Jones playing Darth Vader again, but it's not really going to be him. And it's not going to be his acting. It's going to be that same empty feeling, I think. This whole thing bringing dead actors back to the screen is still fairly new, so I'm not sure where this is going to go, but hey, we're going to talk about that at the end of this video. I would just like to start off by saying I don't like when heroes die in movies, okay? I know this goes against popular opinion, but I did not like Logan, okay? I didn't like Logan just because of the end of Logan. Spoiler alert, this movie came out forever ago, but Wolverine dies at the end of Logan, and it was a good story and everything, and great acting and great effects. The movie itself was good, but I didn't like the ending. I walked out of the theater and I was just like, okay. I just watched one of the heroes from my childhood die, and I was just like, okay, all right, wonderful. That was a great movie. Thank you. I don't know. Have you ever felt that way about a movie? At the end, leaving empty, kind of like The Last Jedi. How Luke Skywalker. Oh my god, it was the worst. It was the worst experience that I had in a movie theater. Watching Luke Skywalker act like a coward for 2 hours and then die at the end for no good reason. Watching Han Solo die. Not everybody has to die at the end of movies, right? Not all these heroes have to die, but should we keep them around forever as AI characters? I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. And I found an interesting article today that I want to go through. This is an IGN article, surprisingly. The sad fate of the Star Wars characters Disney will never let die. Remember when Chewbacca died? In the 1999 book, The New Jedi Order Vector Prime by R.A. Salvador, Han Solo's faithful Wookiee partner, Rebel Alliance fixture, and big walking carpet Chewie bought the moisture farm. Not surprisingly, he died a hero, saving thousands of lives. It was a pretty big deal, even for those Star Wars fans like me who didn't read the Expanded Universe books and comics at the time. Vector Prime got a big promotional push, including a commercial featuring Mark Hamill doing voiceover as Luke Skywalker, and the book even made it into the New York Times bestsellers list for 4 weeks. But that was then, this is now, where the EU is known as Star Wars Legends and doesn't count anymore, and a character like Chewie seems unlikely to ever die in the modern Star Wars canon. No, a popular figure such as Chewbacca, who can be endlessly recast on the cheap, and who can continue to juice merchandising sales for untold generations to come, is probably doomed to live like some kind of outer space Renfield, beholden to his master's pulp culture blood-sucking forever. Wow. It's not just our favorite Wookiee who is consigned to his dire fate. Of course, C-3PO and R2-D2 are, and will continue to be similarly affected. Yeah, well, I mean, they've been in every Star Wars movie, right? Up till now, so they gotta keep being in Star Wars movies. There's another point. If they're gonna keep making Star Wars movies, those two need to be in them. Do you keep Anthony Daniels' voice around for C-3PO? But even characters that have died in the canon like Yoda and Jabba will continue to rise from the grave time and time again to satisfy the Sarlacc-like Easter egg maw of the latest show or game, most recently for Yoda on The Acolyte and Jabba in Star Wars Outlaws. And those are just the most obvious examples. Everyone from Nien Nunb to Baby Yoda to the guy who got his arm cut off in the cantina in A New Hope is up for grabs. Ponda Baba, his name is Ponda Baba. I'm thinking about this today not just because of the news that Disney is embroiled in a lawsuit over the use of the late Peter Cushing's likeness. Okay, so they're getting into the lawsuit too. Everyone's talking about the lawsuits as Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One, but also because of the passing of James Earl Jones on Monday. Jones, of course, was the voice of Darth Vader, one of the most iconic characters, not just in Star Wars, but in all of cinema. The fact that the actor had signed off on AI recreations of his Vader voice reminds us that while we may be gone now, the Sith Lord can and almost certainly will continue to pop up in the future Star Wars films and TV shows. Yeah, well, if they paid for the voice, then he's going to be back. But Vader, or Anakin Skywalker, if you will, actually died all the way back in 1983's Return of the Jedi. And while, sure, prequels like Rogue One, flashbacks like in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and Force dream sequences, or whatever that was in Ahsoka, can bring a character back, we have to ask whether or not they should be bringing a classic figure like Vader back time and time again. Bringing characters back is one thing. Like a character like Darth Vader, you can keep bringing Darth Vader back for more things. This is just Star Wars. Like you have to play in the sandbox of Star Wars, right? Take the prequel trilogy where Anakin's original story was told and he was portrayed first by Jake Lloyd and then Hayden Christensen. I would argue that whether or not you think those movies ultimately work as original stories, they at least were trying to do something new with Anakin, uncovering the events that led to his downfall. Well, they're trying to do something new with all these characters. I mean, like they're making new stories about the characters. That part doesn't make sense to me. Uncovering the events that led to the downfall over the span of 3 whole movies. Can the same be said for Rogue One or Obi-Wan Kenobi, where Vader was more of a how cool is it if we brought him back than anything else? Yeah, I mean, they're making new stories. I don't think we're on the same page right now, because I'm talking about actors coming back, and is it moral to keep bringing these actors back time and time again whenever we know they're gone? Or, I don't know. You tell me in the comments, do these people's voices belong to us as fans? Do they belong to Star Wars? Do their characters belong to Star Wars? Yes. Do their voices? Like, they are the voices though. So it's a tough one. But of course there's going to be more lawsuits against Disney as this stuff continues, unless they have ironclad contracts from each of these actors, which that's never the case. So we'll see. Okay, I'll continue on. Of course, the threat of living forever in an ever-diminishing series of Star Wars vehicles has now extended beyond the masked and non-human characters. The debate over the use of Cushing in Rogue One some 22 years after he died isn't a new one. Ditto Mark Hamill's cutscene. Okay, yeah, the younger Luke Skywalker was actually really good. I did like the younger Luke Skywalker. I appreciated seeing real Luke Skywalker back again after The Last Jedi. It was nice to see him back. I thought it looked good. I thought it would have been fine if they would have just had the actor portray Luke Skywalker too. Then again, I really can't see anybody but Mark Hamill, that crazy bastard playing Luke Skywalker. Even our 3 main heroes from the original trilogy, Luke, Leia, Han, are all dead now in canon. Yeah, I know. It's so stupid. They've each come back in some form or another too. Plus, in the case of the late Carrie Fisher, digital trickery was also employed to unconvincingly insert old footage of her into The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, that was another great one. Indeed, the notion of the dead returning to the land of the living goes back to the very first Star Wars movie when Obi-Wan's ghost whispered, "Run, Luke, run." No, that was a ghost in this. Oh, these articles. Even whenever I think I find a good one, like, it's still disappointing. Like, what? No, don't conflate the characters being dead. Look, a Force ghost isn't actually dead, okay? Oh my god, it's actually making me angry. All right. Whispered, "Run, Luke, run." But that was an unexpected and cool extension of Luke's story, not a gimmick to sell more tickets or Alec Guinness plushies. That would actually be kind of cool. I want an Alec Guinness plushie. I'm sure there is one. Andor, which is the best of the live action Star Wars shows. It was good. I don't think it was the best. Also features the return of a dead character via prequel story. But the compelling tale of how an ordinary man becomes a rebel during an age of empire works because of the show's excellent writing and performances, not to mention the avoidance of cute cameos for the sake of them. Alas, that is the exception rather than the rule in the Star Wars universe now. So pour one out, not just for the EU version of Chewie, who died saving thousands rather than continuing on forever as a shambling echo of his former greatness, but also for 3PO, R2, Vader, Yoda, and all the rest who will never be allowed to truly move on. They will persist so that the Star Wars franchise can continue on to sort of live. Okay, so that wasn't a bad article. You know, the guy kind of said some weird stuff in there, but would you rather Chewie have died saving thousands, or would you rather see Chewie on the big screen again? Would you okay, so we were about to see Chewie die, right? Do you remember that in the Rise of Skywalker, was it? Was it the Rise of Skywalker where Rey force lightnings that pod that Chewbacca was in and blows it up, and everybody like saw that and we were all like terrified. We were like, what the fuck? Would you want to see Chewie die like that? Die horribly? I'm not sure if I agree with this article. Whenever I thought I saw Chewbacca die on the screen, I was upset. I was very upset. I was like, wow, they're gonna kill him off now? Like that? Okay. Alright. Cool. Chewbacca just got exploded in the air. I don't think fans were happy about that when we thought Chewie died, which he didn't die, of course. He's still alive. This person's saying that the EU version where Chewie died saving thousands was better, but I don't think it would be better. I don't think people would like that better. Tell me what you think in the comments, because I'm still thinking about this. You know, I think I don't want to see my heroes die. I don't want to see them die in the movies. Like, I didn't really want to see Han Solo die either. I also didn't like when James Bond died at the end of that last 007 movie either. My opinion on this is, if we keep bringing characters back AI style, I think it's going to go pretty far. I think that they're going to be able to recreate these characters on screen someday that'll actually look like they're alive walking around. You know, AI art's getting better every day. It's going to look better and better, and they're going to capture their voices so well that it'll be like they're there on screen. But is that moral? Is it ethical? I don't know. Anyway, that's a lot to think about, so let me know in the comments what you think. Good or bad? Should our legends die on screen or stay alive forever? I look forward to reading your comments. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will talk to you next time.